Thanks for checking out this horror film review from the Skeleton Crew Horror Podcast. You can find our full archive of every unedited show at horrorphilia.com. Also, subscribe to the Skeleton Crew on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoy the review. Phantasm 4, Oblivion, 1998. This film was directed by Don Coscarelli, written by Don Coscarelli, stars A. Michael Baldwin, Reggie Bannister, Bill Thornbury, and the blonde chick is Heidi Marn Hout, and the tall man, and in this movie, his name is Dr. Jebediah Morningside Angus Grimm. It's weird. Michael Baldwin. Like, why A. Michael Baldwin? Like, is it a name that he's ashamed to, like, get out? Is it like an asshole or something? Like, what does A stand for?
I think it's that his first name actually starts with A, but people call him Michael.
Like G. Gordon Liddy?
Oh, sure.
Wait, why G. Gordon? Is his name really Gordon?
I don't know.
Gordon? Yeah, he's the dog from fucking...
We'll talk later, Gordon.
Right.
G. Gordon... Here we go, Liddy. I'm going to look up what the fuck G stands for right now.
Gordon.
G is George Gordon Battle Liddy.
Battle?
So his name isn't even G. Gordon Liddy. It's G. Gordon Battle Liddy. He lied.
It's like, could be like with George Romero's son. No, his name is actually George. Well, I can't remember the name he goes by now, but George something Romero. But because of his dad, he goes by G. Cameron Romero. But people actually call him Cameron, because they can't call him George because his dad's name is George, so they call him Cameron. Usually people do that when they have a first name and it's, their first name is officially their name, but they don't go by that name. So
that's odd. I actually named my dog G Spot.
Well, that way you could always be sure to find it.
Well, it was better than naming him Stains, because I was like, come Stains! Come Stains! Yeah, so I went with G Spot. I thought that was more appropriate for when the kids are around.
Yo, so check it out. The A before his name stands for nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
Nothing starts with an N.
Right? Well, no one said he was smart.
Yeah, I guess A is not what he got in school. What do you mean? You looked up the Wikipedia and it said A is nothing?
On IMDb, I looked in the thing, and that's what it said. It said the A in his name stands for nothing.
That's what it says there. On Wikipedia, it says nothing about it. Nothing. It just says he's the son of Gerard Baldwin.
Okay, well, that's not it, then.
Okay, the opening scene, when Angus Grimm was walking down the hallway, because that's how they started it.
Awesome intro. Awesome.
It's weird, though. As he was walking down the hallway, it looked like he was wearing his balls as earrings.
Yes, he did. Get out of my way before you leave wearing your balls as earrings.
Like, they were actually floating on each side of his head. It was pretty amazing. So, yeah, the whole opening of this movie is really filled with really cool flashbacks. Really well done. Really, solidly put together. I thought this movie was going to be some fucking, Lifetime bullshit movie or something. And, man, they really, the editor deserves a lot of credit, and Coscarelli. The way they just, sat there and, probably studied all the footage and put it all together was really comprehensive. But right away, within the midst of the beginning is what we already talked about, the three of them on the hood of the car jamming, which makes no sense. We touched on how it could make sense, how it can't, whatever. It doesn't, though, in reality. It's just impossible.
Well, what does? Just in this movie,
Well, I think a good amount makes sense. But here's the thing. Yeah, technically, yeah, you're right. Nothing makes sense in terms of, real life. But in terms of what's been going on, I don't think it's any further from it.
Dude, Jody, nothing about Jody in part 3 or 4 makes any fucking sense. I'm okay. I'm not complaining. go with it because that's the kind of series it is, and I just accept it and have fun. But if you think of that, nothing about Jodie makes sense at all. I don't even know at the end what happens with Jodie.
Well, you got to suspend disbelief though. Like you got to remember. Like for example, if you're watching Total Recall, you can't say it makes no sense that Arnold's on Mars or that this happened, that, you know, like you can't, that's what's happening. That's where we are. That's the reality of the movie. So in that aspect, the reality of the movie is that something is happening amongst these three guys that does not happen to anyone else in the world. You know, like we don't know, we did not discover what this fucking Undertaker is doing. You know, they did, and they're on the inside track, and we're not. So on that aspect, you have to actually give it that, you know? And then from there, we go, okay, well, what makes sense beyond that? You know, you got to keep on suspending disbelief. So, I mean, I don't think there's honestly anything different about this movie than what we're supposed to have believed in part 2 or 3, right? I mean...
No, I mean it's just batshit crazy. It's just a lot of things happening, and it isn't. There's no real straight narrative. I mean, they attempt it, but some things happen. Whoever's watching this movie, I don't think, can really sit and explain what and why. Like this happened because of this, and this happened because of this, and this means that. It's just not that kind of movie. It really hasn't been that type of series since part 2. I don't know. This movie is batshit crazy, but. That's not a knock against it. I was expecting this movie to be, you said a Lifetime movie. I don't know. I was expecting everything that I've heard about it, having never watched it before, just for it to be god awful. And that was not the experience I had watching this.
No.
So, yeah, I don't hate this movie by any means, but I just can't, when I'm watching it, I can't get away from the fact that it feels like he had a bunch of extra footage lying around. He wanted to make some more bank, so he threw it together and made it work. I mean, that's just the feeling that I get from it, and I don't think it's far off from the truth. I think that's pretty much what happened. So and that's stuck. You know, it's stuck in my head that this is not a vision he had from the beginning. This is not something that was like his life's work, and he wanted to make this part 4 movie. He had a bunch of extra shit laying around and figured why not do something with it is what it more boils down to. And to me, it says that. However, I do give him props for being able to blend it fairly seamlessly. I mean, I think he did a good job with that. I think it's clear that he put some effort into doing that and to trying to make it work. So I give him credit for that. But I can't figure out why after we get to 3 and 4, where it's clear that there is no, we don't have a clear idea of anything going forward. Who are these people that are clamoring for a part 5? I've never understood that. Like who? Why?
What? What are you kidding me? What do you mean why? The way this movie ends, especially. How could you not want it? Like I said before, it's like Empire Strikes Back.
Because I didn't really want a part 4. I didn't really want a part 3. Hell, I never wanted a part 2.
Well, no, you wanted a part 4 because what kind of ending is 3? I mean, the guy, Reggie, is surrounded by balls. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, you at least say, well, where are we going? Okay, I'll sit through another one.
I never wanted it. That I can say. I never wanted it. But
you were begging for it.
Yeah, Jamie's begging.
Look at the way I was dressed.
Right. It's like a trial.
I'm glad. I'm going to say I'm glad I was spared from Jamie's feelings. Only during this retrospective did I gain the knowledge that they had film that they never used from part 1, and we touched lightly that they were going to use it in part 4, and when it happened, when it popped up, it occurred to me. I said, oh, yeah, this is that thing we talked about. But I got to say, I never tonight thought this was like forced stuff or written around. Let me just use this since I have this or that. Luckily, I was spared that perspective. And instead, I actually saw this as bonus. I was like, holy shit, like, wow, that was cool. Man, that really fit in. Holy shit, that was cool. How the fuck did he make that work? You know, like we already talked about, like the last scene. Like, how the fuck did you make that work? And I was really actually impressed by the way Coscarelli actually spliced all that in. And I thought it was amazing. I was like, holy fuck, this is good shit. Like, they really did the best possible job, I guess. You know, I didn't see all the footage that they had to work with, but I was like, wow, this really works. I'm totally into this.
Me too. Well, don't get me wrong. I'm glad that he got to use it. I think it's a great. I think it's a fantastic idea to take something that you have that you never were able to use and to be able to turn it into something new. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, yeah. And I think he did a commendable job with it, considering so much time had passed in between the two that he was able to take them and kind of weave them together. I think that was done really well. I don't have a problem with that. The only thing I'm saying is that while I'm watching the movie, it never leaves my mind that this is not something he set out to do in the beginning, in the get-go. This is not a continuing story that he had plans for, you know, like, say, a Lucas with his whole overarching theme with Star Wars. This was not something that he had an idea about, or J.K. Rowling, you know, with the Harry Potter series or any series that was, I mean, although she did a lot of that as she was going along, but she had an idea.
She had a lot of broad strokes, right?
Right. So this is something he never intended to do in the beginning. I'm glad that he got to do it because I think that it's a cool thing to be able to use this footage. I would hate to see it go to waste, you know, because, you know, he did something interesting, I think interesting with it. Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying it's always in the forefront of my mind that this was not a plan. You know, this was not, these scenes were not filmed to go into this movie. I mean, you know what I mean? But I do still give him credit for being able to do what he did with them. And like I said, I don't hate this movie. I really don't. A lot of people do. A lot of people stop watching. Actually, a lot of people stop watching once they get past part 2.
Oh, wow.
Which I think is a shame because I enjoy it. Brian's raising his hand. Which I think is a shame because I enjoy the hell out of part 3.
Oh, yeah.
And then there are even more people who just flat ignore part 4. Like they just don't even consider that it exists within the universe. You know, I actually don't mind it. I enjoy particularly the parts where we go back in time, even though I don't think Jebediah Morningside is a character that requires a backstory. I don't think it was a character that needed explanation. I don't think that this was something. I don't think
we got any. Like,
you didn't really.
Yeah, did you guys get anything out of that besides?
You got as much explanation.
Loosely.
Yeah.
with this as you get with anything else in these films, I guess.
You get the gist.
I don't think we needed that, but I do think it's kind of cool. I do think it's cool that we went back there and we saw this, and you saw what I was talking about with the whole the photo and the carriage thing and the
again.
They did it again.
I like that. You know, I have fun with that. So overall, I think this is, and I really enjoy watching the way he blends the old footage with the new footage. I think it's cool. I think it's fun. You know, I even like it, but I think we are in the minority, really. I mean, we are in the minority for liking this film. Most people don't even recognize it. I mean, unless they're huge series fans, you know, and even still, though, I still wasn't clamoring for a 5th one. I was perfectly happy for it to be done.
Man, after I finished this last night, I said, thank goodness they made a 5. If I would have seen this years ago, seriously, the way it ended that way, I'm like, this is obviously a middle-of-the-road movie here. It's a movie that is begging for a sequel because the way it ends off, I couldn't imagine watching 4 and not wanting the 5th. I'd be like, oh, shit. And I completely understand what you're saying about the scenes and how you can't get that out of your head when you're watching. I guess I could see that with that prior knowledge when you sit down to watch it, but I had that same knowledge going into it, but to me, none of it really seemed forced, and it blended so well that I could see the movie being a different way, where shit would be just put in there, and I'd be like, oh, wow, you would just get it would leave a bad taste in your mouth, but none of it really did here, so I don't get that feel. just makes me happy. I'm like, yeah, I'm so glad that they utilize this footage to the best of their ability.
Yeah.
Well, tell me though, do you not feel like the Reggie parts were extraneous? Like he was there to do pretty much nothing?
Well, when you put it that way, yeah, but I didn't think.
When you put it the way that it is,
that's the weakness of the film. That's the only weakness there.
While I was watching him do nothing, I didn't think of it that way. I was just along for the ride because it was so well done. The whole movie is so well done. Like Dave said, every time it was a flashback, to me it was a treat. I was like, holy shit, wow, another great, it was like they took these scenes and Coscarelli spent 3 weeks just really thinking through everything and writing right around them, seamlessly almost.
Why was it 3 weeks?
Just a round number. I imagine myself spending. It is a commendable job. I probably would have fucked it up. To the fact that he wrote a scene where somebody said, "What is that?" It's just the wind. Who would have thought he could write something as great?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Some of those scenes, it's kind of a shame to me that they didn't get used in the original film.
No, fuck it. Save it for this.
Yeah, but at the time, he didn't know he was saving it for this. At the time, they were just on the cutting room floor.
I don't care.
Which is a shame, But I mean, I'm glad we got to come back around because I do like that scene a lot. I think it's a very tiny scene, but I think it's a very effective scene.
I think it was meant to be.
I do have to say, when you sent the text message after you watched the movie and you're like, I'm so excited, I can't wait to record. I can't wait to talk about this. And I told Brian, and I was like, oh, well, Alex is really excited about this show. He wants to record this. And he's like, well, because he liked it or because he hated it? And I was like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't tell you.
I didn't know. I didn't know which way you would go. I kind of guessed you were going to hate it because most people do. But I really didn't know because judging at how much you enjoyed part 3, I didn't know which way to go.
I thought you liked it because I liked it, and I figured you had the same experience.
Good.
But Alex, plus, don't get... Both of us, this is our first time, and both of us have been hearing so much negative shit from people before we started this retro for years, but especially since we started this retro, we've been hearing, oh, just wait, and I'm watching this movie, and so are you, and I'm thinking I'm expecting a complete turd, and I'm watching a confident movie. I'm like, wow, okay, because how that happens sometimes. Someone shits on something for so long, you think it's going to be terrible, then you watch it like, oh, that's not nearly as bad as I thought. It's like Blair Witch 2.
I was going to say, thing. Yeah, or maybe even the Blair Witch. Maybe that's what happened with that. But
same thing. So I thought maybe he likes it, and I just thought of something which is completely irrelevant. But wouldn't it have been cool? They dropped the ball with H2O when they made Halloween H2O. Alex. Remember how we discussed the deleted scenes when Lori came home and she had the phone call and she was talking to the girl, when she was talking to Annie on the phone? Wouldn't it have been great if they just used that scene on H2O to show her flashing back to happier times and nobody had seen those scenes before?
Yeah.
Would have been cool. They dropped the ball. But anyway, I digress, but it just popped into my head.
Well, what I think is interesting is that I'm one of the people who've been saying, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this. Oh, this is going to be, oh, get ready. Oh, I know what's coming, and that was not at all coming from a negative point of view from my point, because I don't dislike this film. I don't dislike part 3.
Yeah.
I fully expected that you guys would be like, what in the fuck just happened? And so I was excited to hear what you had to say because I figured you were going to be like, oh, man. Like, I seriously thought we were going to lose you at the end of the series.
No, is that weird?
What was it Matt said? He's like, your road to suicide or something?
Yeah, Matt actually thought we would absolutely hate this movie. He said, seriously, nothing happens in the whole movie, and I couldn't feel further from the truth.
No, he's absolutely right. Nothing really does happen. Nothing.
I agree.
Nothing is accomplished.
What? It is such a journey. How could you say that?
I enjoy it.
Destination.
Nothing does really not much happens. Like the Reggie stuff, this is what I'm saying. The Reggie stuff, like what Jamie said, that is kind of irrelevant. That does not really factor in, but it kind of reminds me so much of 3 and 2 because he was on the run in those movies too. It's just the difference is he's alone this time, and then we get Michael on his journey. And I think maybe because so much was happening in this movie, or it seems that so much was happening because of the bounce around effect. You get modern day Mike with the tall man. Then you get the flashbacks of Jebediah. Then you get Reggie nowadays. Then you get the stuff from part 1 that was cut. There's so much bouncing around back and forth that it seems like a lot is happening. And in a way, there kind of is stuff happening, but just Reggie seems to be, to a lot of people, the crux of this, of this entire franchise. But not a lot happens with him. So I think that people, they think about that and they think about shitty things. And that's why Matt said nothing happened, because really nothing happens to push the story along with Reggie, except that they're fucking pen pals for some reason. I don't know.
One thing I mentioned earlier, the hanging tree scene. One thing I really, really, really like about that is we have present day Mike with the whole hanging himself part, and the tall man's like, no.
He actually delivers an amazing line. He says, the tall man says, "Death is no escape from me."
Oh yeah, that's what he says the first time.
Oh, that's something different.
Yeah. Oh wait, you're talking about something. Oh.
Yeah, well, Mike tries to kill himself. He won't let him. He's like, "That's not your choice," or you go, "That's my domain." Jamie said.
Sorry.
But what I like about that is we have the Michael hanging himself thing, and then we have Michael having the dream, which is the flashback part where he has the dream and he walks out to the hanging tree. And what you get is this shot of Michael walking toward this hanging figure in the tree. And we had just seen Michael string himself up. Like, we had just seen that part. So young Michael is walking toward this tree with this figure hanging in the tree. And then you hear, like, really low, "Cut me down, boy. Cut me down, boy." And which is very creepy. But anyway, he's walking and he's looking up. And so as he's walking, and then you get the shot of the figure in the tree and you can't see the face. And then it turns around and it's the tall man, but from back then. And what I love about that is the way that he integrated that scene into the new film. You could believe that he was about to turn around and it was going to be present day Michael. Like, as he's walking toward the tree looking up, you don't know what he's going to see when that figure turns around.
Oh.
It could be the tall man. It could be him. I mean, you don't know. You have no idea. And then it turns around and it is the tall man. But he just as easily could have put present day Michael turning around, and that would have been even cooler on some levels, I think. Not with the story, but it would have been cooler just effect-wise, because then you would have in one scene perfectly blended young Michael and present-day Michael, and I think that would have been badass. But
yeah, they should have done all that stuff in this movie.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but we're being Monday morning quarterbacks here.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much what we do.
Yeah, but yeah, sure. I mean, like, you know how many times I listened back to his show and I said, God, I just came up with a good joke for this response. Like, when you think about it that way, it's like, yeah, you can always kind of make things better, but we have to appreciate what he did with what he had.
That's what I love about it, is that when I'm watching this scene, I don't know what he's going to see when he turns around.
Wait, but just blending the two, let's not gloss over the fact that he said, well, hey, we have some random scene here. I'm guessing this may... Oh, wait, no, it couldn't have taken place right before they dropped the boulder on him in part one, because he would have never slept on it.
Maybe beforehand it happened.
Yeah, that happened way before, because he would have slept on it, and then all of a sudden, right away, had the boulder ready. So God only knows. It's almost uncanny how this all happened. But so he said to himself, well, I have a scene where I randomly have Mike and Jody hang this asshole, and then Jody or Mike cuts him down. So how can I use that? And oh my God, how great is it to say, well, Mike is so tormented that he literally would be willing to kill himself to get out of this. Talk about adding character depth. And then at the same time, splicing it into something I did 30 fucking years ago. And then the way the two play off each other is perfect.
That stuff is good. The stuff you're talking, here's where the movie loses. Here's where it loses me. The third act, I get confused, and it loses me.
Maybe I can help you. Go ahead. Because I wasn't confused. Go ahead.
Okay, how come all of a sudden fucking Mike has yellow blood? How come he's one of them?
He had yellow blood in part 3.
Mike?
Yeah. After that ball went in his head or whatever. Remember that? It happened. He had the ball in him in part 3.
Well, it made no sense there, too. That's fine. Okay, all right. I don't get how come they
and
don't
then
trust
he had
Jody?
the silver eyes. He had that in part 3, and he had that in here too.
Okay, yeah, I do
because the
remember
ball was in his head. Because old man, tall man.
Not only is he old, Jamie, he's tall.
Old man Morningside.
The old man, because tall man stuck it in his head.
Okay, he stuck it. Okay, so that's fine.
Yeah.
How come they didn't trust Jody at the end? How come there was mystery with Jody? Don't trust him. I don't.
Because he is a fucking ball, which is always controlled by the tall man. And at this point, they're a little more savvy than naive. So they were like, well, fuck. I mean, why should we trust Jody? He's a ball.
Forget the fact that he was so incredibly helpful in the previous installments, and that he actually was on their side.
Right, I know.
It makes just forget all that.
And how come he said I died in the car wreck? Remember they showed the scenes. He said the car wreck happened, that Jody actually died before the parents died. And if that is true, then that wipes part 1 completely fucking out of oblivion.
Well, if you think about it, oblivion, that's
right.
why. If you think about it, Reggie in the very first film, that's what he says at the end. He's like, "What are you talking about? He didn't take Jody. Jody was killed in a car accident."
But that didn't make any sense there. And then they kind of said, okay, well, we're not going to really explain it in 2 or 3. But now they try to explain it again, and it makes no sense. Because if you remember, Jody was banging the girl. Mike was following Jody in the cemetery.
Right.
Everything that happened in 1 had to do with Jody. Hot as leather. They were performing songs together. Get the fuck out of here. And then later on...
I think initially in the first film, all of that was supposed to be Mike's dream. Like, Mike... all of that, even though it doesn't make any sense that he would have been there. Well, no, he was there. He was. Wait, Mike was in the cemetery when Jody was banging the chick. So yeah, all of that was supposed to be, by the time he got to the first one, because he hadn't intended to go any farther than that. All of that was supposed to be figments of Michael's imagination, maybe, because then at the end you have the tall man coming through the mirror and taking him. So. I mean, really, you've never been able to pin down something for complete certainty.
No.
As far as the series goes and be like, this is what it's supposed to be, because it just never works.
Yeah, there is no solid lineage, is there?
No.
Because, sometimes I'm watching this, even though I really, really enjoyed this movie, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm enjoying this, but I really don't know what the fuck is happening.
I just don't get Mike.
That's okay. Neither did they.
No, they didn't in this movie especially, and I accept it by now. It's a dream thing. I don't give a fuck. That's the kind of movie it is.
Right.
It's a post-apocalyptic world, yet I don't really know. I just don't get Mike having yellow blood. If Mike is a minion of the tall... Seriously, if Mike is a minion of the tall man now, because that's what that would represent, why would he be trying to fight him still? He's either taken over or he's not. There's no in the middle. And I thought Mike was being groomed as the successor to the tall man.
That's where I was getting to. Oh, no, I didn't actually say that. I wrote that down.
Didn't you expect him to... He picked out that tux. Didn't you expect the tall man to say, try it on for size?
Amazing.
Come on, Mike.
Here, so the tall man disappears into a coffin in the back of Mike's... Mike apparently drives a hearse. It's a new thing. So everyone's driving a hearse in this movie, and so the tall man disappears into a coffin, and then Mike opens it later on. And here's another thing. I lost track from where the fuck... the tall man says that the car will drive itself. He couldn't open the fucking door. And the next thing I know... Mike's out of the fucking car, and he's opening the back door. And I'm not even sure where the part happened where he no longer was controlled by this guy. I don't even know where that happened. He gets out of the car, opens the back door, a coffin, he slides it out, and the tall man should technically be in there, because that's where he jumped into to get away from Mike or whatever. And he opens it, and instead... It looks like the tall man apparently has a dry cleaning service in his coffin. I'm like, oh shit, wow, they clean his suits for him in there. And he just disappears somewhere. I don't know. But apparently what we learn later on is that what Dave exactly said, apparently it was tried on for size. Like Freddy Krueger. And Mike is clearly the successor because they even show a scene later on where Reggie's doing something or other. We'll get to it. But Reggie turns around and Mike is in that suit with that little diamond in the tie, and he's actually even taller. He's actually a tall guy.
Yeah, but it went nowhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
We knew this in part 3 when he told him he had plans for him. I mean, that was his whole plan, which doesn't make any sense, because why would the tall man need a successor when the tall man, especially now, we go back and we see that Morningside has been it's been a long fucking time. Now, if you're going to say, well, eventually you could say before this movie, like eventually the body's going to wear out. Whatever this entity is going to need a new body because this one has been getting older throughout the series. That would make sense.
Right.
Then he needs to groom Mike to replace him so that he can take over that body and then continue on. Except now we see this history of Jebediah Morningside, and he's been around forever. And of course, I guess he's doing this whole dimension hopping thing. See,
Yeah, Jamie, don't feel bad.
It wears me out. It wears me out.
It makes sense. I can see that, though. He needs a successor. Why can't he live for 500 years and that's the end of it? And then he has the alien that has infested him has to move on to something else. That's, I could accept that as an explanation.
Maybe whatever it is inside the body allows the body to go on longer than it normally would if it were just a human. And but then eventually it does wear out anyway, and it's
why not?
Kind of like the kiss. Although that usually that was like 25 years in between or something like that. But still, same kind of thing. It keeps jumping from body to body. You know what would have been good if he wanted to do that route? If he wanted to give the impression that it was necessary for this thing to get a new body, and he wanted, which I think would have been a viable storyline here to really see through to the end. I think it would have been cool to make it solid. In order to do that, what he should have done is give us another older iteration. Go back even farther and give us, a young Jebediah becoming.
Yeah, before Angus Grimm could play him.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that would.
It was like Javier Bardem with his No Country for Old Men haircut. And
yeah, what's with the hair? Oh, does Jebediah change his fucking haircut in 100 years? Like, holy shit. This guy has the same haircut every day?
Well, he was killed that way, and that's it. He's taken over. That's his.
Oh, it's like like when I said if a ghost has a shitty haircut, does he stay with it?
Right.
That just means you always want to look your best. That's why they tell you to make sure you're always wearing clean underwear, because you don't want to be a ghost. You don't want to be a ghost walking around with dirty underwear.
Yeah, like if I get a shitty haircut and I die the next day, holy fuck, I'm stuck with this. So every time they find pictures of me as a ghost, I'll have that haircut.
Oh, check it out. Nobody has mentioned the callback to part 1. The old lady is back.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. I love that she's back all the time.
Just for a second. I mean, don't we only see her the one time where she's like, Jebediah?
No, in the car.
In the beginning, she's in the car.
That's right.
Yeah, that's so cool. And how about the tall man kills a dog?
Oh, he didn't give a fuck.
He pulls up Michael Myers. He drives and kills a dog.
Can you imagine if he ate the dog? He's going to eat these goddamn things.
That scene was great, by the way. First of all, with the old lady being there, because who's thought about her in the past 2.5 movies? Nobody.
Right.
And then, boom, let's put her in there. As long as we're going to be recycling stuff from part 1, let's bring some part 1 shit. I wish we would have found out what happened to that girl, her granddaughter. But maybe Ravager will find out.
Yeah.
30 years later.
But that's what baffles me about Jamie's perspective on this. It's like, me and Dave feel that this is so well thought out, and Jamie feels that it's so desperate to write around.
I feel that because that's what happened. I mean, that is what it was. This was not a plan. He never planned to go beyond the first one. That was never a thing.
Yeah, but is your brain overriding your heart? Like, do you think that you know too much to enjoy it?
I didn't say I didn't enjoy it. I've said it about 150 times.
I say it one more time. I don't get it.
I like this movie. I like it.
Wow, she did her own drop.
I like it.
hot as leather. You know how he says that at the end? He goes, "We're hot as leather." After they had that jam session, hot as leather.
I like it. I'm just saying, I'm not. My brain won't allow me to ignore the reality of what happened, but that doesn't mean I didn't like it.
Thank you, brain, for ignoring my reality. Because this was a great time.
And how the fuck would Reggie think that there's actually cops in a post-apocalyptic world? Really? He's gonna pull over? Half the fucking world is wiped out. Oh, well, there's a cop.
Well, apparently the rest of the world doesn't seem to notice. So, I mean, no one. That's the thing that always gets me about this is there's never been where's all the news coverage? Where are all the
Yeah, like, holy shit, a whole entire city has gone to hell.
Yeah, television does not exist in this series at all. Have you noticed?
Clearly it doesn't. I mean, nothing does.
Nothing exists.
Because no one seems to notice anything's going on, ever.
Oh, Jamie, it's a very small town.
I do like the part, though. Oh, I'd like this part, too, where it's a flashback scene where Michael's talking to the tall man, and he's trying to get him to cut him down, and he's like, you're killing the world. And he's like, cut me down, and I'll go away, and I'll never come back. And he's like, I'm not going to hurt you. I just want you to cut me down. And which, by the way, I don't really get that whole thing. I mean, I'm not really sure why he's in the tree and why he needs him to cut him down. I mean, I guess it's symbolic, but...
Yeah, I think it is. I think he just wanted to see him go through the motion.
Yeah. I really do like the part where he says, but you're killing the world. There's something about that. Because at that point, when he made the first film, it wasn't that far-reaching. We didn't know that.
Yeah, how about that? Another amazing thing.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's almost as if he wrote the rest of the movies based on that one scene that he never showed us.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe he did. Like, maybe he took... You know what? Maybe he had all this footage in his head that he had shot. And so maybe as he was making the ongoing films, he was thinking, what can I do? What are some ideas that I kind of formed when I made the first movie, but I didn't maybe take places? And what of those can I use going forward? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the thought process was there.
I hope there's more. I hope more show up in Ravager. I really do.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I mean, if he were to pull out some old, I was about to say found footage, but if he were to pull out some old deleted scenes from way back and put him in this new movie, that would be really cool.
Well, I'm going to tickle everyone's ass with a feather here. I'm going to tell you all that we have a review of Phantasm 5. Somebody in our circle has watched Phantasm 5 already, and they have given their overall consensus of that movie. So before we end the show, after we're done with this review, we're going to give you that little tidbit that we got from the person who watched the movie. So you'll get to hear if it was worth watching, not worth watching, pretty good, really bad, or whatever it is. You're gonna get the inside scoop. Somebody has watched it. It was at a film festival, and we will drop that at the end of the show. So keep listening to get the privy.
Alex, can I ask you a question about this? It's something we've discussed throughout, and you complained about it. Do you realize that in this movie there is no old school ball to head blood draining scene except in a flashback?
There actually was that scene, but it was intervened by the victim.
Okay, well, we sure
talking about Reggie?
Yes, they and now Jamie.
Oh, that was great. The hand?
Yeah, his hand
was awesome.
This is exactly how it should have been done. It's too far removed if we did it between 1 and 4. Now, I'll give you, let's throw it in 2 or let's throw it in 3, but let's not have it in both. Then I'm on board. But to have it in all 4 is no good to me.
What about the
no
cars?
good.
Yeah. You either do it to the priest in part 2 or you do it to the black chick in 4 or 3. You do not do it in all of them. So you could pick whatever one you want, but there should have been a gap. And then by the time we got to Reggie, it would have been, oh shit, that. Yeah, I remember that. And it would have been cool. Like, I know what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be drilling into his fucking head, but he stopped it. Holy shit, this is great. Like, that's what you should be thinking at that point. It shouldn't have been some redundant fucking gag.
It's like the dinner scene in Texas Chainsaw.
Exactly.
Right. You gotta have it. That's my point, Alex. People want to see it. It's become part of this franchise.
But see, that was also, I want to say, when we did the Texas Chainsaw franchise, wasn't that one of your issues? Was that the dinner scene was? I love how Dave knows more about the show than I do.
I have an amazing memory for podcasts. Yep.
It was one of my major complaints.
Okay, that's what I thought.
He did bitch about it. You're right. He did. But no one else seems to care. It's just something that bothers Alex. It's just, hey, whatever. Everybody has their things, you know?
I'm the only one who gives a shit about this.
The cars blew up again and in huge...
Oh, God! Dude, the cars blow up. 550 fucking cars blow up.
Does that bother you?
Yes! Dude,
okay.
Literally, I wrote it down somewhere. Where is it? I can't see. Okay, somehow I forgot the first blow up. I wrote second exploding car, and then the girl actually even says, I thought cars only blow up like that in the movies. And it goes boom! Like, holy shit, dude. How many times are we gonna blow up a fucking car? Oh yeah, one of them was the Michael. Supposedly now he's like Tina from Friday the 13th Part 7. He has like these powers where he could like move things with his mind. I tell me where I fell asleep during that revelation, but he actually can make cars blow up, and he tries to kill the fucking tall man by blowing up his hearse next to him.
Oh, that was that thing he constructed, though. He made that happen. Because remember, he built that ball?
I remember him taking parts apart from a car.
Yeah, remember he put that ball on top of the motor in the car, and he ended up and we here as the viewer we're thinking, well, this is the ball. I don't know what he's going to do with it. But then the ball comes out. They kind of swerved us, so I was happy about it because you thought the ball was going to be used to kill him, and Tall Man just laughs it off. He goes, "This is a toy." Yeah, and he's like, "Fucking." So ultimately, that wasn't the plan. That ball was shitty. It wasn't even supposed to destroy the Tall Man. What happened afterwards? It was supposed to be like a distraction, and then he had the car blow up. So maybe the ball leaving the motor ignited something and caused that to happen.
Brian calls that the carburetor of death.
Yeah.
Right on.
It's weird. But let's talk about some small points of the movie real quick. Let's do the little the thin strokes. Wait, broad strokes and what's the other thing?
I'm thin stroking over here. Okay. I'm having a fucking
short stroke. That is
the backstroke.
The back. Yeah.
The breaststroke.
The reach around strokes. Okay. How come every time Jody appears in this fucking movie, he always stands there as if like he expects everyone to be like their reactions to be thrilled that he's there.
And they're not.
They're never thrilled. They're never thrilled.
Totally.
They're always like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
I love how Michael in this movie, he's like, "Hey, what's up, brother? I wonder when you were going to show up."
Like, no one's like out. Like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it, Jody! Oh my god, I can't believe you're here!" No, they're like, "What the fuck do you want?" It's amazing. No one is ever excited to see this asshole.
It's so funny.
Nobody. Now, Jamie, real quick, you alluded one time, I think it was in the first show we did of this, you said, wait till you get to Zombie Cop. I just don't want to gloss over that before we keep going. Now, Jamie, you're familiar with Trancers, right?
Oh, yeah.
Did that not remind you of Trancers?
It did. As a matter of fact, I told you recently that we were just watching Trancers because Brian got the Blu-ray. Mm-hmm. So that was a couple weeks ago. We were watching that. And Brian even made a comparison while we were watching it.
Wow.
To that. So, yeah, I definitely see that.
I have a whole different... See, I haven't seen Trancers, but I have 3 notes here. This is the combination of... And I remember seeing this the first time and seeing a picture of it. I think I said it on show 1. And it said it looked like the Creeper.
Night of the Comet is what it reminds me of.
Oh, see? Here's my combinations. A Creeper cop. Oh, pardon me. He looks like the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers. Or some of his makeup actually looks like what Freddy's makeup looked like at some point.
Yes.
And
probably the New Nightmare.
Maybe. And he also kind of reminds you of Chatterer, the Cenobite from Hellraiser.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I guess it looks like just makeup of that time, maybe, because they're all familiar, you know.
But yeah, did I say Night of the, I said Night of the Comet?
The
Yeah,
Comet.
Comet. You meant Night of the Creeps.
No, I meant Night of the Comet. I just wanted to make sure I said it right.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, that's what that always reminds me of is Night of the. I mean, I can see all of that. You know, I can see everything that you mentioned, the transfers like Alex mentioned. No, I mean it just. I think it can go a lot of different ways.
It's just makeup effects of the time, I guess. You know, which it makes sense. They're trying to replicate what was going on at the time.
Transfers, so. You know what? I'm going to pinpoint. It's really similar to Transfers 3, and that was 1992, and this is 98. So I guess there's no real total. I guess there's no real lineage there, but.
Well, no, and the Creeper was years later, and Chatterer was in fucking 1988. So I mean. I don't know. Maybe it's not of the time. Maybe it's just familiar territory with makeup effects. I don't know. It's just, but that's what I was getting out of it. Now, do you see the comedy in this one? Like I said, part 3, Alex, how they tried to make it like they made him like they even gave him lines like Ash when he was like, "Blow me," he says, and then he fucking shoots him like 3 or 4 times. The zombie cop, and then
I'm gonna say, dude, honestly, it's so minimal here that no, I actually feel that any humor was just. Almost as if it was that's who the person that's that person's own sense of humor that is
it's him.
It's there, right? Yeah, because it's who it is. But no, I don't feel it was playing to an audience at all.
Just a little, but strangely enough, only in the first act. Same thing as Phantasm 3. I don't know why. It's only in the first act. Maybe to loosen people up,
right.
But I don't know. But it's Reggie, and then he's like, after he kills him, like, oh, some cops can be real assholes.
Well, how about that? How weird is it that speaks to today's climate in the world?
Well, it's always been that way.
Yeah, but dude, no, cops have...
but not like it is now. I mean,
you never heard "fuck the police" back in fucking 19...
Well, yeah, but...
With the camera phones and shit? No way, dude. This is beyond. Like, what's happening? And the news, the way the news are... Yeah, maybe in the old days, it was beneficial or whatever for the news to not shine a light on this type of shit. But for some reason, the gloves are off and the cops are right on the spotlight. Like, people don't give a fuck.
It's just a different world now, period. Just media has changed a lot of things. And
yeah, they don't give a fuck anymore. Cops are pieces of shit, losers like everyone else now. You know, whoever we can make money off of, nobody's off the fucking radar.
Everything's an agenda. That's all. That's why when you're talking about things, I don't even know what you're talking. If it's modern, if anything's happened in the last 3 years, I have no idea what it is because I block it intentionally all from my life.
Yeah, so but you know the cops are killing people all the time.
They always have. It's nothing different.
Well, now there's like a riot in every major city.
Right.
See, I had no idea.
What?
Yep.
How do you not know that there are riots all over the place?
No clue. I don't watch the news. My only outlet to the world is social media, and I don't look at news feeds. Yeah, I don't look at feeds, so I only talk horror talk. And on Twitter, I never press that button that says moments or whatever. It has like news shit. I refuse to allow it.
I never press that button.
Nope.
Yeah, but I agree with you, Dave, because it's all bullshit. But at the same time, you don't want to be like out of.
I enjoy it. I love it. I revel in it. How's that?
Yeah, but. How weird is it that you don't know what the fuck is going on in the world? You know, like
it's not going to change my life.
No, it will. Like people are going to talk to you and wonder what the fuck's wrong with this guy because he doesn't even know what's.
Hasn't happened yet.
Nobody has mentioned what's happening with cops.
Well, where do I go? I go to work and I come home. I see my wife. If I see my friends, it doesn't really come up. We don't want to talk about that when you're with your buddies. And if it does, I say I don't want.
Yeah, actually, my buddies have talked about it, but we all talk. We're all on the same page. So it's actually a nice conversation, but to not know at all I can't even imagine. I think you're joking, right?
No, I live in this little bubble, and I completely enjoy it. Actually, I had a friend of mine tell me a few years ago.
Wait. You're a football fan. You're going to tell me that Colin Kaepernick kneeling down, you have no idea why he's doing that.
Because I watch SportsCenter, yeah.
Okay. So you do know.
Well, yeah, if it's football, if it's the NFL, I'll hear about it.
Right,
yeah.
okay, so you know.
You know why I know? because it's. I watch the NFL Network and it comes on, but that's not real news. That's just NFL news. So if it would have been a baseball player, I wouldn't have known.
But you do realize what's happening. Somebody somehow reached out to you.
Oh, that has to do with cops? I have no idea.
You do know there's an invention called the television, and on on this television.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, anyway.
Either way.
Yeah, so
Whatever.
So let's get back.
Vince.
So Reggie's in a hotel with this blonde chick, and by the way, okay, before we get to anything that takes place here, how insanely hilarious does Reggie look with his hair out and not in the
Riff Raff. I'm telling you, he looks like Riff Raff.
Who is Riff Raff? I gotta look this up.
From Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh,
I've only
my
seen it once. Let me look it up.
God. The hair is unbelievable in this hotel scene. It is just all out and long and wide. It's not in the ponytail anymore, and it is woofing, man. I mean...
How about that movie? How about Scary Movie 2 when that one guy he was dipping his nasty hand into the fucking food and shit? Was that supposed to be a play on Riff Raff? Because it looks exactly the same.
Yeah. The Chris Elliott character?
Chris Elliott, that's that guy.
Oh, that was Riff Raff. Oh my God, he does look like this guy.
Totally. I saw this movie. Pardon me, I lied. I saw it twice in like a matter of like 3 months in like year 2002. It's the only time I've ever seen Rocky Horror, but they didn't know the character's name. The only thing I remember was what's his name is called Frankenweenie or some shit, or I don't know.
Oh my God.
Frank.
No, you're thinking of Frankenweenie. Is that the cereal guy?
Frankenfurter? Whatever the fuck.
Frankfurt.
Okay, I don't know. I remember him, Tim Curry's character, and that's all I remember. Okay.
They all float. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, it looks insanely funny. Like, once you guys get to this scene in this movie, you will laugh your fucking asses off when you look at this guy's hair.
It happens twice. That happens earlier in the movie. They show it for a second when he's sitting there, and then later on when he's with the chick, he when they're changing their clothes and stuff, it comes out. And by the way, why the fuck does Reggie have such an extensive wardrobe? Who the fuck would pack a duffel bag full of clothes in the fucking apocalypse? I don't know.
Well, I mean,
the ice cream uniform from 1970.
Well,
He's fucking present.
Like, I love how he felt he has to dress up in the good humor outfit just to kill fucking Angus Griff. Like, you gotta be kidding me.
suiting up.
Yeah, right.
That's like Arnold Schwarzenegger when he's in Commando and he gets all geared up to fucking kill, what's his name? Like, he's gonna gear up in his good humor ice cream outfit. I just don't see that happening.
It's just so what's his name could use that line. It was a setup for a punchline. It's not really funny, but doesn't the tall man say something? He's like, "Ice cream man, don't you know it's all in his head," or something like that.
Yeah, I guess like Coscarelli said, I need to use this line, so I'm gonna go ahead and write you into wearing this. He's like, I'm not wearing that fucking thing. No, you're wearing it. I need Angus Grimm to say this.
And then literally it was in his head. Because then the fucking ball came out of his head.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the blonde won't bang him, which is odd. I mean, like we said, she was if any guy in the world's watched this movie, the signals that this chick gives while she's in this shower curtain thing, I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting laid tonight.
Guess what, Alex? Let me interrupt. It was going to happen until he opened his big fucking mouth about the tall man, and then she decided he was fucked up. And that's what she said. I can't get involved with a guy who's more fucked up than me or something like that, she says. So he was fine, and then she's in there changing, half naked, showing shit, and he's like, oh yeah, don't dismiss the tall man, this happened, and this, and the bitch is like, well, sorry, Jamie. And then the girl's like, this fucking asshole's crazy.
What are you apologizing to me for?
Because I don't usually call women bitches in front of women.
Oh, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, because Jamie's not a bitch.
You didn't call me a bitch. I don't care.
Oh.
Jamie would have slept with you in that moment. Just kidding.
Well, she would have slept with what's his name in Psycho 3, right?
Yeah, she said, yeah, Duke.
Wow, how do you remember that?
I remember any you know why? Because when I listen to podcasts, they're in my ears and I'm concentrating. So I'm focused. Anything that I focus on, I remember forever. And if I can't focus, I don't remember, obviously, as you know.
All of Dave's greatest moments are in my brain. Like he's one of my biggest heroes in life, and he doesn't even know that. So like this chick. So what you're saying is, guys, you got to put up a front when you want to bang a chick. Be cool, man.
Fuck yeah.
Don't tell them don't spill your fucking guts every time you see a chick. Stop being yourself. How about being a desirable guy for one fucking night, bang this broad, and then when you're done with that, actually, you know what? Do it a couple times. Get to 6 times, at least.
No, 3. 3's the rule.
3's okay.
Rule of 3.
Get to 3 times, then she's probably a little more open to who the fuck is in your little heart. Okay? Yeah. Other than that, she doesn't give a shit. She wants to know how cool you are, if you're desirable, if you're a get. If you're not a get, if you're a fucking dweeb, like we all secretly are probably, then just hide that for 5 fucking seconds, alright? Stop spilling your goddamn guts and talk about the tall man!
That's right. I'm with you.
Who talks about the tall man when you have a blonde in your bed? It's crazy.
Dude, men are famous for fucking blowing it in the fucking 4th quarter. It always happens. You got the girl, signed, sealed, and delivered. You're in there, you're ready to fucking go, and then you go and you say something fucking stupid. And women aren't like men. They can all of a sudden they can go from raging horny to, oh, I'm not horny anymore.
Exactly.
Thing. They're not like us. We're hard, we're fucking. That's it.
Think about it, assholes.
Yeah, keep your mouth shut.
Christ.
Keep the legs spread and your mouth shut.
Okay. So, yeah, Jamie's totally I think she already logged off.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
You must be talking to me.
Yeah, you must be talking to me. No, Roy, just get those bodies out of here.
You talking to me, sure?
All right, so Reggie busts the tall man's balls after the blonde shows her cans, like we said earlier.
Ball tits.
Now, how the fuck did he know? I'm sorry, again, I feel like I'm either an alcoholic or really dumb or something, but how do I miss these things? What the fuck would ever lead Reggie to believe ringing a fucking tuning fork would bust the tall man's balls?
Yeah, I said the exact same thing when he just randomly picked it up, and you at first you think, oh well, yeah, he figured that out, but then he looks at it like, what the fuck just happened? So clearly, I mean, it's like, oh, I'm being attacked by this ball. Oh, I've got this tuning fork. It's like he's got ADD or something.
Right.
Oh, tuning fork. Let's play with that.
That's my problem with the movie. That's why I'm saying it doesn't all... That's what I'm trying to say. That's why my rating might not be quite as high as yours, but that's what I'm saying. There are some problems, and that's just fucking stupid.
Right. Well, I'm not going overboard. Don't worry. It's not like a 4.5 out of 5.
Right.
So, like, Jody grabs Mike when Mike's running down a hallway or something. I thought Jody can't be touched, but suddenly he can grab other people. Like, how come the rules of Jody completely have changed? Like, his whole existence in this world, he can't be touched. Like, why point that out, and then in the next movie have him grab people? I don't get it.
I don't remember that aspect of the film at all, so I don't know.
I do, because I just did that show. I just produced it out. I remember myself saying that. Like, supposedly, he said, no, don't touch me in part 3. Do you guys remember that at all? He said,
part 3? Get the fuck out. I don't remember what I saw in part 3. Shit.
Okay.
I can barely remember 4. Okay.
You know, at this point in the movie, like we said, Reggie has this burning desire to finish the job in his good humor outfit. And his gun is back, that double barrel thing that he invented in part 2 that he threw away and just got back. The Jawas are back.
Well, he had it in 3.
Yeah, he did get it back in 3. The Jawas are back.
For about a minute.
Looking worse than ever.
It was cool, though. That's what I liked about this movie. That it was a hodgepodge of everything from the other movies in the series. It was fun that way.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So, Dave touched upon this earlier. Jody turns on Mike out of nowhere, even though in part 3 he was, clearly helpful. Even if you take your knowledge of part 4 and go back and try to piece it all together, you're not going to get anywhere because, like, if you say, well, wow, Jody was actually on the other side, so let's really examine this whole thing in part 3. It doesn't really pay off because you're not going to get anything out of that.
Nope.
Yeah, so Mike stabs him in the hand just to verify that he's one of Colonel Cochran's robots, and he does bleed orange. So he does that, and he bleeds orange. So he says, okay, now I could kill my fucking brother. So he goes, he stabs him in the heart, and he kills Jody. Or so he thinks. Because like 5 seconds later, Jody grabs him again or whatever. We get our third car explosion of the movie, which does not kill the tall man. I mentioned earlier, he blows up his hearse. Doesn't kill him. And Mike is knocked out or something like that. So the tall man walks over and pulls one of his balls out of his head. Now, if I said out of his mouth, there'd be a problem here, but I said out of his head. So he pulls a ball out of his head, which is cool, and it's still continuity, because he did this in part 3. He, like, gouged him or whatever and planted a ball in his head. So I guess it sunk totally in by this point, and he pulled it out. So Mike's dying, and Reggie says, don't let go, man. I'm coming right back for you. And this is the point where the tall man was blown up, all this shit. They've done so many things to him. Wouldn't you just feel fucking helpless at this point? Like, how does Reggie have any go-get-em in him left? What?
Go get him.
Yeah, like, dude, firepower is not going to do it. You have hung him, dropped a boulder on him, poured acid into him. You've shot him 1,000 times, blown him up. I mean, you've done everything short of... I don't even know what you haven't actually done to the tall man. He's not gonna die. He clearly is fine in 5 seconds every time you do this. What? Like, how could he have any energy to go on with this? To say, don't let go, Mike. I'll be back for you. I'm gonna go get this guy. Like, what are you gonna do, Reggie?
Yeah, I mean, that really is a good question. I mean, I think at this point, what can you do? How could there ever be an ending to this?
Right.
Well, and the tall man himself said it's never over.
That's right.
He's telling you you're wasting your time.
Well, they're still alive, so that's something good. They're still alive. Tall man hasn't killed them. There they are. What else is there to do this day and age? There's no television. We've already seen that.
I mean, but what kind
There's
of
no sex.
What kind of existence is that to continue to keep just going through replaying this same scenario over and over and over again to no end? I mean, it's like being trapped in your own personal hell, you know.
It is.
Just or like fucking Groundhog Day.
It is. That's my point here.
That's what's gonna be. It's gonna be summed up in Ravager. It better be.
Oh, I can't
because
wait.
They even alluded to it. He has more power. Like he even tells him, he's like, "God damn you to hell!" And then fucking the tall man's response is, "Not possible."
Right.
This guy has control of fucking some shit, and it's gonna be at the end. After 5 movies, it's going to be explained that the tall man has just been fucking with them all this time, and they're trapped forever. That would be a great way to end the series.
Yeah, just like when he tricked them into wearing winter clothes in the summer.
Yeah.
I do really think that if that's what we were to find out in the end, is that this entire time they've actually all been dead, and this has been they're just trapped in this. They're forced to continue this whole thing, this whole useless, futile battle. I mean, wouldn't that be horrible, but awesome at the same time?
Yeah. So my kind of ending. Oh my gosh, it'd be better than the ending of fucking Models Inc. Man.
Yeah.
The ending of Models Inc. The ending of Models Inc. in the 90s is the best ending ever. It turns out that they were all in hooker hell, they were told. So the whole show was fucking them being in hell. And then the show ended. Oh my God.
I forgot all about that show.
Yep, hooker hell. That's where hookers go to hell. And that's what ended up being Models Inc.
Wow.
I don't think I ever watched the end of it. I
only watched the end of it.
I started watching it, and then I petered out, and then I never finished the show.
Yeah, I heard about that, so I had to go see it. I was like, holy fuck, that's a great ending.
Huh.
I love when movies do that. Or a series. Imagine if a series ended that, which that did, but I mean a franchise, a series of movies, if that ended that way. And this is the series you could do that in. So,
well, if you watched Newhart the series, then at the very end of that, he woke up and that entire Newhart 8-year run had been a dream from the Bob Newhart show. I thought that was really hilarious the way that they ended that. I thought that was very funny. It's like I had a dream that we owned an inn, and I was married to this woman who wore a lot of sweaters.
Who, Adrian?
I love Newhart. Oh man! How about the end of Night Court? The last episode of Night Court, Bull, the fucking big guy, he got beamed up into a spaceship. He was an alien the whole time.
Really?
I'll never forget that.
Yeah, man, I love fucking Night Court.
I work with a guy who is exactly that guy, Bull.
He's from your favorite movie, Alex.
I know, House.
Yeah, Big Ben.
His name is Chris Cohen, and he is exactly Bull. He looks exactly like this guy, and he actually acts like him, like that real stern. Because he's like he was a Marine, so he's like really like that no nonsense guy. It's amazing that he looks and acts like this guy.
So he's more like Big Ben than he is Bull, because Bull Shannon was kind of a goof.
Big Ben was sort of in the army, yeah.
He definitely was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I work with that guy. And I was working with him today. Oh my, because we go out in different there's 15 people in the shop, and they always mix and match who goes out to certain jobs and stuff like that. So I was with him today, and it was just like, and I always think about that all the time. I was like, wow, it's Bull. I'm working with Bull today.
Awesome. But ultimately, this is a stacked deck. It doesn't matter. Even if they don't even acknowledge that in 5, by the time you get to the end of this movie, you have to have that figured out. This is the stacked deck. There's nothing these characters can do.
If you kept trying to kill Jason every movie and you realize he doesn't die, eventually you'd be like, okay, so yeah, am I going to spend an entire movie just to get to the point where I'm right in front of this guy again, and what do I do this time? Throw dynamite in his mouth or something? Like what the fuck do I do here?
Nobody stops.
Yeah, is he Jaws? Yeah. Can I convince Jason to swallow a can of propane? Like, I don't know what to do here exactly. But
well, Tommy Jarvis never stopped. Dr. Loomis never stopped.
Yeah, but what did Loomis do besides shoot him? I mean,
what could you do? I don't know. He burned him. He shot
blew him up in the hospital.
He hit him with a 2x4 at the end of it. Like, I don't even know.
Put rocks around him.
He put rocks around him. Well, woo! He pulled out all the stops on that one.
Oh yeah, he was all out. He pushed him off a cliff. He pushed him in.
He made him step on some tacks.
He pushed him into traffic. Dr. Loomis did everything.
He tickled him till he peed himself.
And then he wondered if it was Rat P or Michael P. Like, at some point, you gotta say, okay, fuck. It's funny because in the beginning of the movie, Reggie even says, I'm done with this bullshit. I don't want nothing to do with it. I don't want to hear about Mike or Michael Baldwin, whatever his name is. I don't want to hear about it. And he's like, I'm done. And somehow he gets dragged back into the horse shit, and now he's stuck. Now, in reality, he'd be like, okay, listen, we can't kill the motherfucker. Well, what do you want me to do? I'm half bald here, and I've been half bald for 20 years. I am old. I am done. I don't want to bother with this anymore. I'm done with this. But no, they're going to keep on plotting through the bullshit to try to kill this guy. And it's ridiculous.
There's nothing else. It's like Jamie said. What else could you do?
Nothing.
There is nothing to do. You may as well fight to your last breath.
Nah, I'm going to go bang chicks and have fun, get drunk.
Yeah, look what happens when you try to bang a chick.
Yeah, what I was going to say, well, you could always kill yourself.
Yeah, hang yourself.
Yeah,
you can't because he won't let you do it.
That's right. So you're fucked.
Hardcore. That's hardcore.
See, Jamie, good stuff. You have to admit that. That's a good aspect.
Well, yeah, you guys stop?
Yeah, stop it, Jamie. Stop it.
I just did it on purpose.
I never said I didn't like the movie.
Like it.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Stop it!
Yeah, I know you. Yeah, it is good stuff. It is. And that's what amazes me about it, is that he actually was able to But now, for all I know, honestly, to be 100% honest, this could be shit that we're reading into it that he never intended, because there really is nothing to say that this is that some of this stuff is what was intended.
It's thought-provoking. Perfect.
But I don't. But exactly. At least there's that. Even if it wasn't intended, it is a possibility. It is a theory. It is. It. It's something to talk about, and I think that makes it a good thing.
Give me something to talk about. People are gonna think we're drunk.
Yeah. And I'm sober again. Yeah.
2 shows in a row. Okay.
Yeah. Good shows too.
Get this movie out, watch the other ones before it, have a few drinks, and really focus on it. And then, if you could do that combination, you will really zone into this, and you will really find it riveting. And I give this movie, I give it a 3.5 to 4 out of 5.
3.524. What a fucking number that
He's
is.
pulling out a Jason Lloyd.
Yeah. It's the half and half. I really like it. 3 was more entertaining in that, because obviously a lot more happened. So on that rudimentary level of why we're putting a movie on to be entertained, yes, that obviously did more of that. But this movie, if you really focus and you invest yourself, you will be very into this, and you can really get into it, and it'll be very fulfilling, and you'll appreciate it. So that's my rating.
Okay, 3 out of 5. I like this movie. I had fun with it, and definitely better than I expected. So I'll give it a solid 3. A lot of the stuff with Reggie just was kind of, and it's weird to say this, because you would think that the deleted stuff from part 1 was the stuff you would say was tacked on, when in fact it wasn't. The stuff that was tacked on was half the stuff with Reggie and the stuff with the cop, and it is. I don't mind that it didn't make sense, but it just didn't grip me the way that.
Wait, what didn't grip you? Reggie's part?
Yeah, so a lot of Reggie's stuff. It just in general, a lot of the modern day stuff. Unless it's Mike dealing directly with the tall man, or the flashback stuff. A lot of the stuff with Jody coming in and out, and a lot of the stuff with Reggie on his own, just didn't pull me in the way things did in part 3. So I had part 3 a little higher, but I didn't feel comfortable rating it the same as part 3. But
hey, am I the only one who feels this way? Does Jody gotta go, or is it just me? I mean, is he the most unfulfilling fucking return guy in the world? I mean, honestly, am I crazy, or is he just not that interesting at all?
Well, according to you, they didn't think so either. No one seems to be excited to see him come back.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. How bad is that? As a viewer, we're supposed to be compelled to have an opinion. The guys in the fucking movie don't even give a fuck that he's there.
I don't think they even know what's going on. Is the thing. Nobody knows what's going on. They don't. They're like, whoa. They're genuine. When Mike runs into Reggie and he's kind of surprised, I think that's genuine, because he's like, whoa, you're in this movie too?
Holy shit! So wait, they blew the dust off of your resume?
I've been filming this movie for weeks. I didn't even see you.
You were a last second edition, buddy. So what are you getting? Scale?
Scale.
Oh, God. It is so funny. Okay, Jamie, so what do you give this movie? I'm interested in what you think, because you are more critical, yet you enjoyed it. So that's going to be very interesting to see the fine line. So we got a 3 out of Dave and almost a 4 out of me. So what do you give?
Well, I'll tell you, I can be critical and enjoy things at the same time. It is possible. I mean, I am fully capable of recognizing when something has flaws and yet still enjoy the product. And I think we all do that all the time. Mm-hmm. We are all very aware of the flaws that our favorite films have, yet we choose to enjoy the film anyway, because for whatever reason it speaks to us. And yeah, I am not above calling out if something's a shit show. I'm going to say, you damn straight it's a shit show. At the same time, I absolutely love it. I will say that, and for those people who don't think that that's possible, who are just like, oh, how can you like something when you just ticked off all the reasons that it was bad or all the things that were wrong with it? Well, because those are two different things. One is a critical analysis, and the other is an opinion of my personal enjoyment of it. So that being said, I give it a 3.
You like it?
I like it. I do like it.
You like it?
I like it. I don't.
I like it. Hey, Mikey.
I do think that there are some issues with it. I do think that Reggie doesn't seem to belong here. That he doesn't accomplish anything. He doesn't really do anything. I don't think that there is a lot of ground covered as far as moving a story along. Period. In this, it does very much feel to me like they had a lot of footage and they wanted to do something with it. However, I enjoy what they did with it. So there's that. And yeah, I like it. I gave it a 3.
Yes, very enjoyable. So we'll be right back, and all we're going to talk about before we end the show is our friends' review that we have of Phantasm 5. It's just a little insight into what one person thought, but you may have a lot of credibility in that one person, so we will give it to you. Okay, we'll be right back after this message to wrap up the show.